Co-stars? Sure. Friends? Not even close. ET has learned there has definitely been tension between Snow White leading ladies Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, and they're, quote, not close by any means.
Rachel Zegler just had one of the most disliked trailers in history with Snow White, but now after all the controversy, she's come out slamming Gal Gadot.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Guess which Snow White stars aren't friends at all? That's right, the feud between Snow White co-stars Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler has only gotten worse after the movie's disastrous premiere, making it the biggest flop in Disney live-action history. And in the aftermath, tensions between the two actresses have reportedly escalated to the point where they're not even on speaking terms anymore. Join me today as we dive into how this beef started and why Rachel Zegler seems to be struggling to make friends in Hollywood.
Rachel Zegler is not doing anything to silence all of those reports, rumors, and online chatter that she and Gal Gadot are beefing. Yes, beefing.
The fallout from Snow White's disastrous premiere just keeps getting worse. Despite all the negative press and controversy leading up to its release, Disney was reportedly expecting the movie to surpass $100 million in its opening weekend. However, it fell far short, bringing in just $87.3 million. On top of that, the reviews were overwhelmingly disappointing, making it one of the worst-rated Disney live-action remakes of all time.
That means Snow White is destined to be one of the biggest bombs in Disney history.
The reasons behind Snow White's massive failure are up for debate, but one name keeps surfacing in nearly every discussion: Rachel Zegler. Rachel was caught up in plenty of drama during the film's production, but one of the biggest controversies was her public feud with co-star Gal Gadot. When it was first announced that Rachel, one of Hollywood's rising stars, would be teaming up with Wonder Woman herself for this remake, fans were excited. On paper, the film had everything it needed to be a box office smash. Some even predicted it could surpass the original 1937 classic. But then, Rachel started talking. They say there's no such thing as bad publicity, but Rachel Zegler might have single-handedly ensured this movie's failure. During the press tour, she gave off the impression that she saw herself as Snow White's savior, like she was too good for the role. Time and time again, she took shots at the original film, calling it outdated. And let's be real, she was, clearly holding back from saying even more. For over 80 years, Snow White has been a cornerstone of Disney. The original film literally reshaped the company's history, and to this day, it remains the highest-grossing animated movie of all time. So when Rachel insulted it, fans weren't going to let it slide. But things took an even messier turn when Rachel started clashing with Gal Gadot. In August 2024, Rachel took to X, formerly Twitter, to voice her support for Palestine in a post tied to the Snow White trailer. Now, we all know politics is a highly sensitive and divisive topic, and in this case, it was no different. Gal, having served in the Israeli Defense Forces under Israel's compulsory military service laws, has previously expressed her support for Israel. Unsurprisingly, this created a storm behind the scenes. Rachel's tweet sent shockwaves through Disney, leaving many in the production confused about why she chose to make such a bold political statement while promoting their movie. Things got so chaotic that Disney executives were blowing up Rachel's phone, and producer Mark Platt even flew to New York to speak with her directly. At this point, Rachel's relationship with Disney's producers and executives was already on thin ice. For nearly 2 years, she had been subtly throwing shade at the film, but with so much money invested in production and marketing, the studio had no choice but to stick with her. And she wasn't making it easy for them, but the situation worsened when Gal Gadot started receiving serious threats because of her Israeli background. It got so bad that Disney had to hire additional security for her. According to insiders, Rachel didn't seem to grasp the full impact of her tweet, which only made matters worse. She failed to realize how her words affected the film, Gal, and everyone involved.
Well, seems like Rachel Zegler's heart is shady. Or perhaps she doesn't give an F. To celebrate the film's release, she took to social media and shared this post with 13 pictures from the making of the movie. A lot of folks that helped bring Snow White to the big screen. Noticeably absent and not included in this carousel of 13 pictures, you guessed it.
After that, the tension between the two co-stars only worsened with each passing day. This put Disney in a tough spot, as they needed both actresses to promote the film. But on the rare occasions they did, it was painfully obvious that they had nothing in common. Even at the movie's premiere, the two seemed to go out of their way to avoid each other. And during the European premiere in Spain, Gal Gadot didn't even bother to show up.
Even though Disney spent a whopping $270 million on the film, the studio opted for a small LA premiere held Saturday in the middle of the day with limited press. Zegler greeted children dressed as Snow White. She was not at Disneyland on Sunday, where Gal Gadot promoted the film, surrounded by children dressed as her character.
The massive age gap between the two didn't help either. Gal Gadot, a mother of 4, and Rachel Zegler, an up-and-coming actress, had little in common. The only thing tying them together was this movie, and that turned out to be a disaster. Source who spoke to People magazine shed light on just how strained their relationship was. According to The Insider, Gal is annoyed by all the movie drama. She enjoyed filming and was fine with Rachel, but they are not friends. They have nothing in common. They did a job together, and that's it. Another source added that Gal and Rachel simply didn't see eye to eye, explaining, Gal Gadot believes you don't criticize and cause drama for a project you willingly signed up for. She just doesn't get it. And that insider wasn't wrong, because beyond the Gal Gadot feud, Rachel kept making life even more difficult for Disney. Amid all the Snow White controversy, she picked another fight, this time with Donald Trump and his supporters. Rachel went off on Instagram posting, "May Trump supporters, Trump voters, and Trump himself never know peace." But she didn't stop there. She launched into a full-blown rant, calling Trump's followers a deep, deep sickness and dragging them for subscribing to a false sense of security, masculinity, intelligence, patriotism, and humanity. And just to top it all off, she ended her post with a bold F Donald Trump. As expected, the internet exploded. MAGA supporters came for her, demanding that Disney fire her from Snow White, and if they didn't, they threatened to boycott the movie altogether. By this point, Disney had had enough. Rachel was essentially telling half of their potential audience not to watch the film, and executives were in full panic mode. They even flew the movie's producer out again for a one-on-one meeting with Rachel, hoping to get her under control before she did more damage. Eventually, after intense backlash, Disney turned to a social media strategist to help clean up the mess. Soon after, Rachel issued an apology, saying, "Hi everyone, I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse," she continued. "This week has been emotional for so many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion, even when it differs from my own. I am committed to contributing positively toward a better tomorrow."
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
To make matters even worse, public sympathy for Rachel is running thin. Many people now see her as a self-entitled diva. Just take a look at some of the reactions online. You get what you give in this world. Why am I not surprised she's struggling to make friends? Note to self, if I ever start making movies, never hire this woman or the casting director who gave her the Snow White job. She's already acting all entitled, and she's practically an unknown. Not a good bet for future roles. Imagine spending tens of millions on a movie, only for your lead actress to trash it while supposedly promoting it. How annoying can she get? All I'm really looking for in this business is a sister. WTF? Hollywood is a business. Go to work, do your job. Your friends and family are where you find sisters, not your co-workers. Gal Gadot is a grown woman with 4 kids, a husband, and a career. She doesn't owe Rachel anything beyond professionalism. Just because Rachel decided all the women she works with should be her big sis doesn't mean they have to play along. So, what do y'all think? Was Rachel just speaking her mind, or did she take things way too far? And do you think Disney will cave under pressure and cut ties with her? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and until next time, bye.